AJ Howell here with Larry Weir. We're back after a bye week, and the Eagles are getting ready to get back with a rivalry game versus Idaho.
Yeah, and it is a rivalry game. I asked Coach Best about this in the coaches show because sometimes, when Idaho just comes back into the conference and maybe I think there has to be some wins and losses and maybe some bad feelings and so forth and so on before you can really have a rivalry game. But I think we now have a rivalry game between these two schools, and it should be rivalry games as long as proximity is factored in. But sometimes you have to have a little bad feeling, and I think maybe there is a little bit of that now between each of these teams.
It's brewing. Yeah, he did mention, he said, he actually has to have the players see it through the players' eyes in this situation, because it wasn't that rivalry for him when he was playing for Eastern, facing them as an FBS opponent. And so he's like, these guys will be able to tell their kids that, but I can't tell them that yet. So it's interesting to see something that's a little bit newer, but like you said, there's been some close matchups recently. For the Eagles, though, their last win over them was, by 50 points? So that one wasn't so close in 2021. But 2-4 teams coming into this, I don't think that's what anybody would have expected. And maybe we will. Do you think we'll see a close one in this?
I would assume that you're going to see a close game here on Saturday. I think that Idaho is maybe trying to find their footing. They've really been hit by injuries.
Yep.
And Eastern has been hit by injuries as well. And I think when that happens, it takes a little time for teams maybe to find their footing. So Eastern coming off the bye week, we'll see if they're a little healthier and whether they've can extend this one-game winning streak that they have.
Is there a game that comes to mind where you knew going into it that you could see upwards of 5 quarterbacks when you combine both rosters that could be seeing time?
Yeah, and I suppose maybe a 6th if Jake Skockel were to get in for Eastern for whatever reason. So, yeah, I mean, it's a complicated situation here trying to prepare for all these quarterbacks for both the coaches. I mean, I think Eastern probably has a little harder than Idaho here does, because you really don't know who's going to be the guy for Idaho at this point in time. Is Joshua Wood healthy? Will it be Koch because he ran the ball so well? Will it be Wagner? I think it's fairly well settled it'll be Bell, but I think you'll see Taylor too.
Yeah, the shoe kind of on the other foot for the Eagles, as far as, everybody's had the question mark prepping for them since early this season. And now Joshua Wood, they're saying they're hopeful, and I'm sure, as we've heard for so many, it'll be a game day decision and all of that. We'll see who comes out there the day of. But, talking to the guys today, that just even from the defensive side of the ball, they're like, well, we face this in practice every single day. We have a quarterback that runs it. We have a quarterback that throws it. We've faced a variety, and it's just another game to get ready for.
Yeah, and I think you can say that for Idaho about the Eastern offense too, because they're having to face the same thing in practice that Eastern has to face. So, which team executes better? I think that's what it's going to come down to. What's your game plan, and who can execute that? Who can get the control of the field position in the ball game? Who can get control of the turnover margin? That's going to be huge. Both teams are minus this year in turnover margin. So, who can get more turnovers than they give up? I think that some of these things will play into this game, maybe a little bit more than they do in some other games, like Eastern's game against Portland State, where they, lost by 2 in the turnover margin, but still won.
As far as coming off of a bye week, we've seen that go kind of either way for teams. With this being a bit of a younger crowd, what are some of the pros and cons maybe to having some extra time to get ready, but also out of rhythm a little bit?
Yeah, I don't know if there's too many cons, AJ, other than maybe you lose a little bit of the, you're on a weekly. The players are very schedule oriented, and so when you vary from the schedule, maybe there's you have to get back into it a little bit, so maybe that would be the con. But I think pros, just having a week to rinse out your brain, to not have to practice every day and not have to pound your head into somebody else, every day, and getting maybe to see your family, or getting maybe to go, sit around with your buddies, or if you're a fisherman or a hunter or something like that, you can go take care of those hobbies. You can, see your girlfriend or whatever it might happen to be. I think all those things are good and healthy or if it's just a guy needs to put his nose in the books a little bit more, he's got a little more time to do that. early in the quarter. So I don't think there are too many cons. I think there's a lot more pros. But obviously, if you come out flat to start the game on Saturday, maybe that ends up being a con just to have that week off. If it leads to a flat start, that could be what decides the game as well.
And then for Idaho, coming off of their worst loss of the season, Bess said he expects to face, I can't remember the word he used, but a frustrated team, an angry team, and ultimately a determined squad. Is there room for it to be an edge for Eastern when you have, a top 25 ranked team that's, looking at themselves at this point in the season and maybe realizing, hey, this isn't where we thought we'd be. We got to turn something around.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that they've got a little bit of the wounded animal type thing here going, where they're, in protect mode now, and they're going to go lash out instead of be reactive, which maybe they've been a little bit as of late. It'll be interesting to see exactly how Idaho plays, because they're 0-2 in conference. They can't afford another loss, any more losses the rest of the season. So, how does that flip their mindset? It'll be, that'll be a fun thing to kind of look at. And I think if Eastern can have good success in the first quarter, then maybe that is going to be more helpful for Eastern than maybe it would in some other matchups.
And lucky for everybody on this side of the Palouse, the game's here on the Inferno, and we, get to see this matchup close to home for Eagles fans, expecting a good environment for that as well.
Should be, because Idaho will have a lot of people there. I think a lot of Eastern people will come out. It's Hall of Fame weekend at Eastern,
right.
So you've got 6 individuals and a team that are going into the Hall of Fame, and we're honoring another individual in Ed Simmons, one of Eastern's first great NFL players, who went in on the first class ever at Eastern, but he was still playing in the NFL, so he couldn't be part of it all. He couldn't, thank his teammates or thank his family or anything along those lines. So we're giving him that opportunity on Saturday as well. So it should be a lot of fun. Should be a great matchup. I'm hoping it might be kind of tough to not be in the Dome if it's raining on our heads on Saturday afternoon. But if it's not raining on our heads Saturday afternoon, then it should be a lot of fun to be on Roosevelt for this game.
Yeah, a lot going on, a lot to be excited about.
Absolutely.
All right, well, we'll see how it turns out. We'll be listening to you, and of course, you can always watch on SWX as well, and it'll be everywhere. It's going to be hard to miss.
It'll be hard to miss. Thanks, AJ.
Thanks, Larry.